actually sewing together a top that I made to wear with some pants, some lounge pants that I made. I bought it from Joann's before it closed. It was the Juicy Couture line of fabric, and I would have never bought it, but since Joann's was closing and it was on sale, I said I don't know if I'd ever buy this in the future, so I went ahead and I bought enough to make a pair of pants that I have over here. But then I had enough left over to try to squeeze a shirt out of. So one thing you'll see is right here, there's a seam because I didn't have enough for the full shirt, but I did have enough scraps to equally add a bottom panel to the front of the shirt and to the bottom of the back of the shirt. The one thing I've already done here, and you probably can't see it, but I've used some basting stitches in white thread so that for the darts. So I think you could probably, you could somewhat see it on the reverse side. But I'm going to go ahead and close up those darts. So first I sew it together, wrong sides together, with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Then I trim my seam allowance, and then I fold it right sides together, and then I sew it at a 1/4 inch. So those are the things that I'm going to do right now. So darts, then shoulders. So start with my dart point, and then the legs of the dart. Good. That's good. Oop. Okay. And one more for good measure. Go ahead and do the other side. Oopsies. So now I'm going to sew my darts, and I actually like to sew my darts from the point. I'm sure I have a long thread tail so we don't have no problems. Drop my needle right there. I'm going to hand crank first couple stitches. There we go. Just going to give it a little pull because it is knit fabric. Pull and lock my stitch. There we go. So now I can take out my basting stitches here. Let me tie this dart point here. Oh, right. Take out the basting stitches. Sometimes they get sewn into the stitch, but when you use basting thread, it pops. It just pops right on out. Okay, so we zoom out some. Can I zoom out? Nope, that's it. So there is where's the dart? Right here. There is the dart. There's the dart point right here. And this is where the dart legs right here sewn together. So now I'm going to sew the shoulders. So I'm going to do wrong sides together. I'm going to start with this one shoulder right here, making sure I use the correct side of the shoulder. Yeah, I've done that before. I'm just going to pin it here because it's rolling. I want to keep it nice and flat. All right, so now we're going to do 3/8 of an inch. All right, this fabric is getting pulled into the plate, so what I usually do, so sometimes I need a little helper, so I'm going to put some stitches on here, and then it's like a pull. Okay, I'm going to do 3/8. There we go. So that is stitched 3/8 of an inch. Let me go ahead and get this going. So now I will trim this seam allowance. Look at my scissors, look at the fuzz. Now I'm going to turn this, in essence now it's like right sides together. I'm going to give a little finger press here, make sure that the seam is at the top. Now we'll give it a 1/4 inch. Pull it. There we go. And there is the seam. So now on the outside it's sewn together. Oh, and I ran out of bobbin thread, and on the inside we have this nice and close seam. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my bobbin changed and do the other side. Okay, so I've rethreaded my machine, and I realized I have been sewing with purple thread for this whole time, and I have lots of pink. I have lots of pink. Ay, ay, ay. So now wrong sides together. I gotta get this other. Let me back up some. Get this other end. And also I have been sewing with Sewology thread, and I didn't think anything of it, but it now look, there's a difference. So I just put in my Gutermann, I think that's how you pronounce it, Gutermann, and I love that thread, and now I know why I love it. It has more weight to it, it feels stronger, and it just works different. So Sewology is thread that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it sheds, frays. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. But what was happening is that I noticed, and I don't know why I didn't do anything about it, but I noticed when I was sewing, and as the thread was going through the needle, that there was a couple times where the thread kind of like unraveled and got bunched up, almost like the needle was too small for the thread. But I know, you know, I changed the thread a couple times, and I just kept noticing that. So I would just like stop sewing and just check it and make sure that everything, because the thread was getting bunched up here behind on the front of the needle. It was getting bunched up and then the thread would snap. But now I know why. It's cheap thread. Sorry, not sorry. And I'm telling you, I feel like it's just sewing different now. I feel like my machine is just, the stitches are just going in without a hitch. All right, so right sides together. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and trim this. Now, if this was like a dress I was making, I would definitely be doing a lot of pressing, but since this is loungewear and it's mine, I'm not. I'm just finger pressing it. Okay. And as I said on my live on Facebook, I do go live on Facebook. I've yet to go live on YouTube. Don't know why. I think last time, I don't know. It was many years ago since I've went live on YouTube. I don't know why. But I was saying my nail tech went to Japan for 3 weeks, so they closed the shop. All right. Just making sure everything is nice and flat in there. Oh yeah, this is much better. What the heck? Zoology? What? Wow, I was torturing myself. I was seriously, oh girl. All right, there we have the two shoulder straps to nice clean finish. Okay, so here is my neckline. We got some weird stuff going on up here. Right here. Woo. Okay. So now I'm going to have a little extra here. There we go. Just have a little extra here and pin this around. I'm just pinning the needle right into the little channel that's on the fold of the bias tape right here. What is this? Oh, it's from my basting tape. I mean basting thread. So take this all the way around. I'm trying not to distort the neckline because I forgot to stay stitch. But I probably could have put some stay tape on it, so now I'm going to go around. Just taking my time. Trying not to stretch anything out. Here we go. You make me so, so. Okay. I'm gonna cut it off right here. Oh, there is the neckline. So now we're gonna go in, sew it up. Did I pin these on right? I got my pins going in the wrong way. Oh well, I can still pull it, I can still work it. So I'm gonna start over here. See how my pins are going in back? Now I gotta fight with the pins because I guess I really didn't need the pins. Well, I did need them because I just don't want it to get, I don't want anything to get stretched out of place. So see kind of how I'm already experiencing some discrepancies. Naughty, naughty, naughty me. See that? I think I could get it all. I think I can go ahead and ease that in. Yep. There we go. So I'm gonna, oh, you can even see. What the, oh, hold up. See right there, a pucker. I got a pucker in there, so I'm gonna take that out. I'm not the perfect stitcher, but I know, look at that, see that? That's what you don't want. And I stop it. I thought I was easing it in, but that was not the case. There was no easing going on. Now I'm gonna thread tails back, and then I can pick up where I left off. Now I'm going around. Oh, I'm barely making it. What happened? Okay, am I at the, I think I'm there. Let me go ahead and cut that. And so now I still have this other piece to do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and line that up. Let me move this other one out the way. I'm gonna start right here. Okay, let's go ahead and lay this out. I'm gonna check for thread tails from when I had to start and stop, get those trimmed. Everything looks good. There, up, over here, and behind here. All right, so now I am going to stitch my bias neck down. So I'm going to start, so here's where the fold is. I'm just going to close this up, flip it over, and then I'm going to stitch right along the edge there. So here is, let me get my thread to the back. So here is the bias tape. This is the first line I stitched. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to, so this side is open. I'm just going to flip this over like that. And I'm going to edge stitch right along here. I'm gonna move my needle over. Let me drop my needle. Yeah, that's a good place to start. Back stitch, go back. Ah, I'm stuck. Oh, here we go. Make sure I get everything up here nice and flat. Flat. Get that turned. Just checking under here to make sure everything is where I want it to be, and the bias tape is flipping inside. I don't want it to flip in there. I want it to be open. There we go. Open the, yeah, at this rate I'm not going to get my shirt done tonight. Okay. Why? Okay. Let me check my work. Okay. Keep going. Ooh, come on. Ooh. Went a little off the beaten path there. Flat. Make sure stuff is flat and folded. Come on. Hold on. Gotta get rid of this extra thread. It's stuck. Lay flat, fold over. I hate when it hammers like that. All right, I'm tucking, trying to get the rest of this tucked under here. There we go. Oh my goodness. I was just thinking about a question that one of my partners at work had asked me, and I think he asked me for a solution, and I think I talked about what led up to some of the things that we're seeing versus I'm like, oh my gosh, I have an answer. Stop. I do not know why that does that. Okay. So now I have that stitched down. Next is to trim. So now I'm going to open up the inside here, and I am going to trim this edge off. Just trim it off. Nice. Trying not to cut stuff that I need, but I'm just trimming this, taking my time, making sure I only cut the seam allowance. I'll flatten it with my fingers. So this is reducing bulk when I turn the facing to the inside and finish it. So I'm just making this nice and flat, pressing it with my fingers so that I can go in there and cut this off. If I accidentally were cut into this, I can mend it, but I would be so upset. So let's not jinx it. Take my time. Rushing will have me cut into my shirt when I don't want to. Nobody ever wants to if they don't have to, but and it doesn't help that I'm cutting up in the air, but it feels better that way because I could feel where I'm cutting. Here we go. Oh, look, my seam allowance got caught up in there. It's okay. It's okay. We'll still cut close to it. Alrighty then. Here is let me get my neckline. So here is the neckline. So now I am going to turn this in to the inside. As I got this laying flat, I can see right here I got a little bit that I should cut off. So now this gets turned to the inside. And So at this point, I'm going to baste it. Okay. So I have my basting thread and back to my neckline. I should have a mask on. Ooh. So now I am just going to, I'm going to start from the other side so that I can baste this close. I'm going to start, oopie. So I'm just turning this to the inside, nice and loose, and I'm just going to just do one wide basting stitch. I got to get enough to get all the way around. So here I am, turning it to the inside, give it a nice big stitch. Loosen it, turn it to the inside. Here we go. Here we go. Keeping it nice and loose. All right. So now I will take a look at what I got so far. Yeah, that's the look I'm going for. Nice and loose. And I'm not doing a running stitch because I want to make sure that I take the needle straight down, like straight down into the fabric, because I don't need no issues. So making sure the seam allowance for the shoulder is going to the back. So now, so as to not kill my finger, I'm not going to sew through that thick area there because the needle will definitely go through my hand. That is the worst sewing injury, is for the eye of the needle to go into your finger, which is why they wear thimbles. But I have yet to figure out how to work with it. I think because I learned how to hand sew the wrong way, that just keeps working for me. So I should have a thimble on this finger right here. I should, but I don't. Just keeping it nice and loose. Here we go. $45. So I'm going to pause this and go all the way around. Then I'll be back. Okay, so I am nearing the end. Let me tie a knot in my basting thread. Okay. Find my needle. Okay. So now I am going to open this up to the inside so I can take a look at it. Make sure it doesn't get out of shape. All right. So there is the neckline. So here is the front. Get my needle. So I'm going to put one more stitch in here right along the edge, because I'm going to stitch, I want to stitch this from the outside. And then this right here, I'm going to fold it under, so I'll probably cut it right here. So I could take this and fold it under. Not yet. Probably got a little bit more to go. I'm trying to get the point right here. Got a little bit more to go. Oh, this is where I want to be. Right here. So let me fold that back. Nope, I don't have it yet. Okay, what I'm going to do is put a pin through here to hold this. Ah! Ugh. There we go. Put a pin to hold that. And then, no, I'm not going to use the pin. Okay. So I'm just going to go, because I want to trim a little bit more. I'm going to be sewing this down on the outside, and I just want to make sure that we go to a proper point, because here's this is where the center is, and so I want to make sure that I come down here, pivot, and then go up, but I want to make sure that I catch all of this. Feel me? And I don't want to cut it too short, because if I make a mistake, I can't recoup. Okay. There it is. That's what I'm doing. Let's get some basting stitches in. Ooh. It's tight. There we go. Oh, don't lose, don't move. Oh, this is not, it's not how I cut this. I cut this side too short, but it'll work. It'll still work out. It's just loungewear. Turn this around and look at it. Look at that. That's a nice neckline. What do you think? Right. I am going to start in the back, and I'm going to just put this down. I'm going to increase my stitch. Ugh. I think my screen is dying. And I'm going to move that over some. Let's drop it. Okay. Let me move it over a little bit more. There we go. Oh, something's getting stuck down there. Just take my time. I don't know what happened. All right, nice and slow around the corner, making sure everything stays nice and flat. There we go. Take a look at my work. Everything is fine. I'm just going to stitch right along the edge here. So I got gotta remember where my point is. I should have, I think it's right here. It's thick down there. There we go. Now we'll turn this so we can come up the other side. Ah! Getting a little wonky over here. There we go. And where I ended. Okay. Ooh. So I will take out the basting stitch later, but there is my neck front. I'm glad that I went to the pink. You can see my wonky stitching back there. I don't even know what happened here. This was like the finish line. On the outside it's good, but look at that. Look at that. I don't know what happened here. I don't even know. But I'm not even gonna worry about it. So basting stitches can come out. I don't have to get them all out now, but I am gonna go ahead and cut that wonky stuff off. Okay. But from the outside, it's going to look good. Look at this. I don't even know what happened. The front, yeah, wonky stitching all the way, but the outside looks great. And that's all that matters. So the next thing I'm going to do is I need to put these sides together. And remember, I had to piece this thing together because I didn't have enough fabric to follow to make it, you know, just two pieces front and back. I had to use, so it's like 4 pieces together. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready to go. So I'm going to nicely lay everything down. Little thickness up there. I'll keep going here. Ah! All the way to the end. Ah! Sorry for the sound effects. And so now I will give this a good press and then trim this excess. Okay, so my side seams are done. So now when you look at the side seams from the inside, everything is enclosed, nothing itchy. So nothing itchy that's gonna come off and get me. Get me as in make me go crazy. So the top is almost together. So now I am going to finish up my armholes, and then I have to hem it. And in finishing the armholes, I'm going to use the bias binding, but I'm going to I'm not going to do it like I did the front. I'm taking this all the way. I'm just going to take it all the way to the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and get my free arm out so that I can get this up here, I'm starting at the underarm seam here. Get my binding out. Make sure there's some overlap here and stitching right in this little ditch. Speaking of ditch, I remember stitching a ditch was like one of the first sewing terms that I had learned, and when I first heard it, I was just like, what the heck does that mean? Because it wasn't in any, I don't know if it's in any patterns. I'm not sure. I just remember hearing it, and I was just like, what the heck does that mean? And doing research and then finding it. I had, man, back in the day when I first started sewing, I wish I knew somebody local. I couldn't find anybody. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Just making sure I keep it nice and loose and the edges even. So now when I get to this edge here, cut off thread tails. Thread tails galore. Geek. Geek. And here we go. So I'm going to fold this over. Over that hump. Mark the stitch, and we're done. So now I am going to still trim. I'm going to trim my seam allowance, but I'm going to take this in just like that, and then I'm going to stitch along my edges here. So I'm going to trim my seam allowance. Making sure that I'm only cutting, so I'm just going to get rid of this, especially right here. Ooh, that bulk, it was not nice. And this is where you don't want your fabric rolling up into your hands because that's how you can get a hole. See, when I did the neckline, I did it the way that I did because I wanted the on the inside of the neckline, you know, when you show someone, you know, people necessarily don't go looking at the back. But when you open up the neckline, or if you bend over and your neckline is exposed, I just wanted that, like, I wanted that stitching inside. I just wanted it. I mean, it didn't turn out though perfectly the way that I wanted, but it worked. Okay, so I have it trimmed. So now I'll take this to the inside, and I'm going to trim this. So this little overlap, I'm just going to trim a little more. And then taking everything, folding it, and turning it to the inside. And I'm going to clip that. It's pretty thick right there. But all, so making sure nice soft fold. Finger press, nice soft fold. Ugh. And I'm back at the front of the armhole, or back to the beginning, under the arm. I'm going to go ahead and just take a look at that. Here's the front, here's the V-neck, and here is the armhole. Now, on my dresses, I do hand stitch my, oh my gosh, this freaking fab bias. It's either my pins, but I usually close this up by hand on my dresses because I don't like the stitching around my armholes. But since this is just loungewear, I'm going to go ahead and just stitch around it. So I'm going to start right here under the armhole. I'm going to figure out where's my seam allowance. So sometimes if you want to know where you need to stitch, if you take your fabric and put it under there. So if I lined it up, if I lined the fabric up with the edge, then I take this all the way to the end like that. So then when I go underneath here, oh, I went the wrong way. Eek. Here. Yep, I'm going all the way to the edge. Point right there, that should work. And I'm going to start here under the arm. I'm going to scoot it over one. Oop, not too far. Let's get this off. Getting over that little hump. All right, trying to keep this as straight as I can. I'm going to check under. Everything looks good. Keep it nice and soft. Yep, I am pulling because I'm just getting a little, I just want to be done. So I need to slow down, just let the machine do what it do. Okay, now I've got a little lumpy lump here, so I'm just going to give it a little coaxing. Get through that thickness. I lift the presser foot up to let the fabric relax. Now we're getting around to this other end. finish it off. Now let's trim this and take a look. See, yeah, see how it's the armhole. See that stitching around that? I do not like that. Not on my dresses. On this this is fine. Maybe if the fabric had some print on it, but on solids, like I do not like top stitching around my armholes here. So now I'm going to do the other end, and then after the other end is, I'm just going to hem it. I'm not using any bias tape, so because I didn't use a proper pattern for this, wherever I have some discrepancies, I'm just going to smooth it out. So on this one, I'm just going to go ahead and smooth that out, and I'll press it close, and then I'll top stitch it. I'm going to give myself a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I should be good. And so let's go ahead and kind of look at that. We're getting there. It's going to be a nice shirt. All right. Thanks for watching.